All right, so boom. Let's have a conversation, you and me. Let's talk about sex. Yeah, I said it right now, right here. Why? Because, well, why not? It's just not talked about enough. Mentally, physically, spiritually, emotionally, that I'm comfortable in my head to talk about this in this level of maturity. And I just want to say, if you're one of my close family members and you're watching this video and you don't want to see me talk about sex, I just invite you to log off or just click to the next video. But if that does not apply to you, just keep watching. Hey y'all, welcome back to Holistic Flow. I am your girl, Lolo, and today I'm here to talk about sex and spirituality. I've been waiting for a long time to be able to speak about this topic with the level of maturity that this topic requires. A lot of people see this activity in a different manner, and throughout the video I'll be using like different words, cover up words, because YouTube has something called censorship. We're going to be talking about the do. It's something that I think is one of the most intimate things that you can do with another human being. I believe that there's a couple things spiritually that happen to you, spiritually, physically, that happen to you when you involve yourself in the do. If you have even like apprehensives or you have trauma around the idea of it, all of these things are very common. So in our society, I feel like the do is made out to be kind of like one of the best things since sliced bread. This euphoric act that's meant to, you're meant to find the pleasure out of doing it for yourself, instead of what I feel like the intended message of it. It's been turned into like this thing of selfish gain, and I feel like that by itself has kind of like tainted the image of how people go about engaging in it. And because of that, a lot of people suffer. For a lot of people, it can be traumatic. For a lot of people, they're scared of doing it because they'll think they'll get other things attached to them. And I'm not talking about the do in a religious sense. All views are valid. However, I feel like the do was created to be something that unifies people. It's very spiritual for many reasons. Scientifically, if you look at it, it's an exchange of DNA between two people. Now, we'll get kind of technical. If you're doing the do without protection, what you're doing is exchanging fluids from one body to the other. During arousal of this period, of course, stuff gets wet. So the wetness over here mixes with the wetness over here. And when those two moistures mix together, it is an exchange of DNA that's often called a fluid bond, and you can look that up. That's more so like the scientific view of what's happening when that happens, but more so on a spiritual view, natural hormones or natural energy is released from your body literally to bond yourself spiritually to the other person. And this is scientific as well. Women literally release hormones out of their body during childbirth that bond themselves to their baby. And it's the same during the do. Then finally, there's the climax. When you have gotten to the ultimate point of pleasure or arousal in the action of doing the do, you have that little climax. Well, it's not little. You have that large climax. It's like one of the most powerful forces that one could ever feel. So powerful that some people even feel like they need to do it like once a day or twice a day or however many times a day, because it kind of like fulfills something in you that you long to feel. And all of these things kind of like combine, create this view of people chasing this act to engage in it, not really for good of the overall relationship or situationship or whatever you may be engaging in with the other person. But whenever something is done for mostly selfish gain, it's going to attract a more negative outcome of that thing, which can come in the form of most often fear, mistrust, and trauma. So let's talk about the fear around it. The fear around it is a lot of the times created by religious standards. And of course, it is a religious viewpoint that you should wait until marriage, or one should wait until marriage, that you and another person will be together for life, and then after that comes the action of the do. The fear created around that is the religious concept of sin. All I know growing up is that a lot of young girls are just told to close their legs, and there's not like a lot of education about why they should close their legs or what even happens when you do the do. Not even just having a baby, but literally the emotional attachment to another human being or another soul even that comes with it. Because I think that actually is the most dangerous part. But anyways, let's go back to the fear. The fear is created mostly, in my knowledge and in my opinion, around that religious aspect, because, you know, other than that, there is the fear created by other people who have told you that they've had bad experiences. And then we can talk about the mistrust. When you get into doing the do with a partner who isn't necessarily somebody that you're in a romantic relationship with, it gets a little bit tricky. So I just stick to doing it with somebody that's you're obviously in a romantic involved relationship with, hopefully working towards commitment. The reason I say that is because I think that it takes trust between two partners to engage in it for spiritual satisfaction. And one of the non-religious reasons that I think that is instructed to wait until marriage to have the do is because you want to make sure that both people are committed to the attachment that's going to come along with this literal soul tie, this literal exchanging of DNA and exchanging of energy that comes with it, because this is the most spiritually intimate that you can get with another human being. So in a relationship with another human being, if there is ever any type of doubt in your mind that the partner that you're with may be stepping out of your relationship, if that's what you agreed on, having a closed relationship, or if they are being deceitful or going behind your back, or if they are abusive in any way, mentally, physically, emotionally, or if they're disrespectful, if there are any of those feelings or signs in a relationship, it can make it really difficult to trust another human being with your body and your soul. And I also think that a lot of people going out doing the do simply don't even have the emotional maturity or even the spiritual maturity to sit down and have a conversation about what they would like in their situationship, relationship, it's complicated, whatever, to make sure that both parties are satisfied. And not even like pleasurably, but if things are done with the intent for you to love someone else doing that thing in the first place, a lot of negative things can be avoided altogether. And I think that's one of the main reasons why, from a religious perspective, waiting for commitment is the absolute best thing. Even though, I mean, there's plenty of people that commit to somebody and then years later they're like, oh no, I'm sorry, I was just kidding. Most of us have this gut feeling, this intuition, and really that is our higher power, our divine knowledge telling us that engaging in an act with somebody else is no good. A lot of times people can mask their energy behind good acts of service, acts of kindness, or they can kind of fake it until they make it. A lot of people hide their energy, and you don't necessarily see their true energy until you actually consume their energy through doing the do with them. When you actually take on that energy of that other person, that is where a lot of the trauma can come in. Keep in mind that a lot of these things that I'm saying are based off of my own observations and experiences, so you may agree, you may not agree. Some things that I say may have evidence toward them, they may not have any evidence, but I urge you to take what resonates with you and then leave what doesn't. After doing the do with somebody who you may not have trusted in the first place, you may not have even been energetically aligned with them in the first place, there becomes a shift in your energy and the way that you walk, the way that you start talking, emotions that often feel like love, but they mask themselves as love, but they're really like negative feeling emotions, spiritual emotions such as jealousy, lust, greed. Those can come from attaching yourself to the negative energy of somebody else who also masked their negative energy in order to merge their energy with yours, basically. This is all about protecting your energy. I'm not a relationship counselor or anything like that, but I do have some experience with relationships. The trauma can come when you feel yourself kind of being controlled at your own will by the energy that you've taken on from another person. Some people are more sensitive than others, so again, this may not apply to you. And sometimes we blame ourselves for these type of things because we maybe initiated the do or engaged in it when we know in our soul that we shouldn't have even bothered with it in the first place. But one of the main things that goes into relieving yourself from this type of trauma is forgiveness. And not forgiveness for the other person, partner, etc., but forgiveness for yourself. Forgiveness for yourself goes a long way. Sometimes it's not a person's fault, it's simply the circumstance. And sometimes it takes relieving yourself from a victim mindset, from being a victim to your circumstance, to simply saying, oh, I witnessed this thing happen in my life and I was just around to see it, but it's not happening to me. I'm just watching it go by. Part of me believes that once you have a spiritual tie with somebody else, it's always gonna be there. But I certainly believe in healthy spiritual ties. Why? Because God created the do. I believe that everything God creates is beautiful, but it's when humans take that thing and use it for an intended purpose that it wasn't originally intended by the person who created it. In essence, if you don't get anything else from this video, I would just think about expanding your mindset to think outside of yourself. Are the actions that you're doing, not just the do, but other things that you're doing in your life, are they around your want to spread love, or is it to be selfish and consume? Because love is about giving, but selfishness is about taking. That can apply to sex. That can apply to other areas in your life. That can honestly apply to every area in your life. Because honestly, the mindset that you have about one thing can channel the mindset that you have about multiple other things or topics in your life. That's why this channel is called Holistic Flow, because we think holistically. Let me know how you enjoyed this video and what you got out of it, and also let me know what you would like to add to my video. Leave it down in the comments below. What are your experiences with this topic? What type of conversations do you wish you could have had about it? And if you enjoyed it, also give it a thumbs up. Also subscribe to my channel if you have not done so already. I hope to see you in my next one. Until then, I'm sending peace your way, love your way, and joy to you, your family, and your friends. All right, y'all. Peace.